Hey everyone, and welcome back. Are you ready to get sudsy with us today?
Sudsy.
Yeah, we're diving deep into the world of soap. I know it sounds like kind of an everyday thing, right?
Yeah.
But believe me, the history and science behind it, well, they're packed with surprises.
I'm intrigued already.
So we've got a whole bunch of sources here, historical accounts, some sciencey research papers, all about soap.
And none of them are Wikipedia, I presume.
No Wikipedia.
Yeah.
But just between us, did you know soap making goes all the way back to ancient Babylon?
Wow. Really? That long ago?
Mm-hmm. And get this, soap was once like a total luxury item just for the elite.
Oh, fascinating. So not exactly the everyday essential we think of now.
Not at all. All right, so let's rewind all the way back, way, way back to the very beginning. We're talking 2800 BC, ancient Babylon.
Okay. 2800 BC. Got it.
Our sources say they were making something like soap back then. Proto-soap, they call it.
Proto-soap. So what was this ancient soap like? How did they even make it?
Well, it wasn't exactly the bars or bottles we see today. More of a paste, really. They mixed oils with ashes.
Oils and ashes. Sounds rudimentary, but effective.
Yeah, like a basic chemical reaction, combining fats with an alkali to make something that cleans.
Huh. Our ancestors were early chemists, in a way.
Exactly. It's pretty amazing when you think about it. They were like chemistry pioneers without even realizing it. I wonder if this proto-soap was a thing in Babylon, were other civilizations doing something similar?
Oh, for sure. The ancient Egyptians were also using a soap-like concoction, both for cleaning and, get this, for medicinal purposes.
No way. Really?
Yeah, it even gets a mention in the Ebers Papyrus, the ancient Egyptian medical text from like 1550 BC. Seems the whole cleanliness and health thing has been around forever.
That's so interesting. So we've got these proto-soaps popping up all over the ancient world. But when did, actual soap, the kind we know, with all the bubbles and lather, when did that first appear?
Ah, now that's where the story gets even more interesting. Pinpointing the exact timeline of true soap, well, that's still up for debate. But what we do know is it happened somewhere between those early mentions of proto-soap and the 1st century AD.
Okay, so a pretty big time gap there.
Right. And get this, there might be a link between perfume making and the development of true soap.
Perfume. Really?
Yeah. There is this researcher, Sally Pointer. She did some experiments showing that repeated washing of materials used in perfume making, often involving oils and alkali, could have accidentally led to soap.
Wait, so are you saying soap was like a happy accident from trying to make perfume? That's hilarious. So our ancestors stumbled onto better hygiene while trying to smell good? That's a great story. It makes you wonder what other everyday things we have today were accidental discoveries, huh?
You're right. It really makes you think. Now, we can't talk about the history of soap without mentioning the Romans, can we? What about them? Were they big fans of a good lather?
Well, you'd think, right, with their famous baths and all. But something tells me it might not be so straightforward.
You're on the right track. While the Romans were certainly known for their bathing rituals, they weren't exactly soap enthusiasts. They actually preferred using oil and a strigil.
A strigil?
Yeah, it's like this curved blade they used to scrape off the dirt and oil from their skin.
That doesn't sound very pleasant, especially compared to a nice soapy lather. So if they weren't big on soap, how did the Romans even find out about it?
They can thank the Gauls for that one. Pliny the Elder, a Roman writer from the 1st century AD, specifically credits the Gauls with inventing soap. He even mentions the word sapo, the Latin term for soap, in his writings.
Oh, that's right, Sapo. And isn't there a mythical connection to Mount Sapo where they supposedly did animal sacrifices? Some people believe that's where the word Sapo comes from. Talk about a dramatic origin story.
While that connection to Mount Sapo is definitely intriguing, the word sapo probably has roots in an early Germanic language, probably related to the Latin sebum, meaning tallow. But yeah, the fact that they had a specific word for soap tells us it was already a thing, a recognized practice back then.
It's so cool how language can reveal so much about, the spread of cultural stuff. Okay, so the Gauls introduced soap to the Romans. Did that kickstart a soap-making craze in the Roman Empire?
Not exactly. See, even though soap was around in Roman times, it wasn't like a universal hit. Galen, a famous physician from the 2nd century AD, he was all for washing with soap for hygiene. But it seems like many Romans stuck to their oil and strigil routine.
So soap wasn't an instant win, even with its benefits being recognized. So what happened next? Did this knowledge of soap continue to spread through Europe?
It did, but with some interesting twists and turns along the way. During the medieval period, European soap making went through some big changes. One major shift was moving away from using animal fats, which was the traditional way, and towards olive oil.
Makes sense. Olive oil, the Mediterranean influence, I bet that made for a much nicer, more fragrant bathing experience. No more harsh, smelly tallow soap.
Exactly. And this switch to olive oil also led to a change in where soap was made. Production moved to the Mediterranean areas where olive trees grew like crazy. That's how you got famous soap-making centers popping up in places like Castile and Marseille.
Wow, so soap is tied to geography, agriculture, and even trade routes. It's amazing. But was it still considered a luxury at this point?
That's a great question, and it brings us to another chapter in this soapy saga. Soap making was becoming more established, sure, but soap was still pretty much a luxury, especially the hard, fancy, perfumed soaps the Arabs introduced.
So even in the Middle Ages, people were splurging on high-end soaps. Guess some things never change. But I'm curious, when did soap production really take off? When did it become something everyone could afford?
Well, that's where industrialization comes in. By the 15th century, soap making was turning into a big business. Major production centers were popping up all over Europe. Antwerp, Castile, Marseille, Naples, Venecia. They were all churning out soap on a massive scale.
Wow, a soap-making revolution. So what about England? Were they keeping up with their European neighbors in the soap department?
Oh, absolutely. England was right there in the thick of it, especially during the Tudor period.
Right.
There was a huge demand for good quality soap, so much so that they had to import tons of ashes, which is a key ingredient for soap, just to keep up with demand.
Wow, they were serious about their soap.
Uh,
So was this the point when soap finally became a regular household item?
well, not quite. In 1634, King Charles III, he kind of threw a wrench in things. He gave the Society of Soap Makers a monopoly on soap production.
The soap monopoly? You're kidding.
No, it's true. They even had high society ladies vouching for the quality of their special new white soap.
Wow. It sounds like they were trying to control the whole cleanliness market. But I'm guessing that didn't help make soap more affordable.
You got it. That monopoly, and then a soap tax that popped up during the Restoration era, kept soap as a luxury item for a long time. The small-time soap makers were hit hard by all this, and it wasn't until they finally repealed that soap tax in 1853 that the soap trade really boomed. That's when it became something everyone could get their hands on.
What a journey. From ancient remedies to a product for the masses, it's incredible how much the way we make and think about soap has changed over the centuries. And this is just the beginning. We still have so much more to uncover. The rise of modern soap, the crazy world of soap marketing, and how we got those handy liquid soaps we see everywhere today. Stick around for more Soapy Surprises in part 2 of our deep dive.
Can't wait. As we move into the modern era, the story of soap takes on a whole new level. The late 18th century saw this growing awareness of the connection between cleanliness and health. It was partly thanks to some pretty clever marketing campaigns.
It's funny, right? Like something we just take for granted today. Soap equals health. But back then, that was like a radical idea. Who were the big players in this shift in thinking?
One key figure was James Cure, a Scottish chemist. In the 1780s, he was all about producing alkali, a crucial ingredient for soap making on a larger scale, which, paved the way for mass production. But it wasn't just about making more soap, it was about making better soap, too. And that's where someone like Andrew Pears comes in. He was making a splash with his high-quality, transparent soap in London.
Pears soap. I think I've seen that brand. What was so special about his soap?
Pears soap, it was known for its purity and clarity. It was a real game changer in terms of quality. But the thing that really launched Pears soap into stardom was the marketing genius of Andrew Pears' son-in-law, Thomas J. Barrett. You could say he was the world's first brand manager.
The world's first brand manager. Wow, what kind of innovative marketing did he come up with?
Well, Barrett, he was a master of advertising. He understood the power of image, of connecting a product with something aspirational. He was a pioneer in using celebrity endorsements. He even got the famous actress Lily Langtry to be the face of Pears soap back in 1882.
So they had celebrity influencers even back then. It's amazing how some things never change. So we've got mass production thanks to Kier, a focus on quality with Pears, and then the innovative marketing of Barrett. What other big developments were happening in the soap world around that time?
Oh, plenty. William Gossage made soap more affordable in the 1850s. He came up with a way to make good quality soap at a much lower cost, which meant more people could buy it. And then there's Robert Spear Hudson, who introduced soap powder in 1837. That was a game changer for laundry and household cleaning.
So soap's moving beyond just personal hygiene and becoming an all-around cleaning essential. What were some of the other ways they were trying to, get people excited about soap?
Well, in America, there was this guy, Benjamin T. Babbitt. He was making a name for himself with his innovative marketing techniques, giving away free samples, promoting bar soap as this must-have item for every household. It was a really smart way to introduce people to the product and show them all the different ways they could use it.
Free samples, a classic. It still works, even today. It sounds like things were getting pretty competitive in the soap industry. Were there any major players emerging at this time?
For sure. The Lever brothers, they started their journey in 1886 with a small soap works. They eventually became the global giant Unilever that we know today. Their understanding of mass production and large-scale advertising, it's what helped them build a soap empire.
Unilever, the soap titans.
Yeah.
From humble beginnings to soap royalty. The late 19th century sounds like a turning point for soap. Mass production, creative marketing, the rise of big brands. But what about liquid soap? When did that enter the scene?
The invention of liquid soap goes back to the 19th century, earlier than you might think. William Shepard, he got a patent for a liquid version of soap back in 1865. It paved the way for a whole wave of soap innovations. But it was B.J. Johnson who really made liquid soap a household staple with his creation of Palmolive soap in 1898.
Palmolive, another iconic brand. What was so special about it?
Well, it was made from a blend of palm and olive oils. People loved it. It quickly became a bestseller. In fact, Johnson's company was so successful with Palmolive that he ended up renaming the company after the soap.
Wow, that's dedication. So liquid soap was taking off alongside traditional bar soap. What were the advantages of using liquid soap, though?
Oh, there are plenty. For one, it was way more convenient. It dissolved easier in water, making it ideal for washing machines and other cleaning tasks. Plus, it worked better for some traditional hand washing methods, like if you were using a washboard.
So not just about convenience. Liquid soap had real practical benefits, too. And with brands like Pine Sol and Tide coming out in the early 20th century, it seems like liquid soap was here to stay.
You got it. Liquid soap opened up a whole new world of possibilities for soap makers. They could experiment with formulas, create special blends for different cleaning needs, dishes, laundry, floors, bathrooms. There was a liquid soap for everything.
It's amazing how a simple change from solid to liquid completely transformed the soap industry. But I guess with so many options today, it's easy to forget the journey soap has taken over centuries.
You're absolutely right. Soap's journey from ancient remedy to mass-produced essential is a reminder of human ingenuity, our quest for cleanliness, and how we constantly strive for a healthier world.
You know, after learning all this, I'm looking at my own soap differently. It's not just something I use to wash my hands. It's like a symbol of all those years of innovation and how our culture has evolved. But with such a long history, I wonder, is there anything we can still learn from those early soap makers?
That's a great question to ponder. Think about it. Centuries of soap-making knowledge have been passed down. Who knows what forgotten ingredients or techniques might still be out there? Maybe hidden somewhere in history are soap secrets that could change the way we do skincare or lead to new breakthroughs in sustainable cleaning.
Imagine rediscovering some ancient soap recipe that revolutionizes skincare or cleaning today. It's exciting to think that there might still be so much we can learn from the past. Okay, so we've come a long way, right? From ancient Babylon to mass production to liquid soap to soap empires. It's been a wild ride. But before we wash our hands of this whole soap deep dive, I got to ask, what's next? What's the future of soap? Are there any, exciting new innovations happening in the world of suds?
Well, you're right. Soap has definitely evolved, but there's always room for more, isn't there? One big trend that's really taking off is a focus on natural and sustainable ingredients.
Yeah, that makes sense. People are way more eco-conscious these days. They want products that are gentle on their skin and good for the environment. So what kind of natural ingredients are we talking about?
We're seeing this return to more traditional soap-making methods using plant-based oils and butters, things like coconut oil, shea butter, good old olive oil. They're gentler on the skin, and they're more sustainable too. It's like going back to basics, but with a modern twist, you know?
So natural ingredients are in. What about stuff that's, well, not so popular anymore? Any soap ingredients that are raising eyebrows these days?
Definitely. There's growing concern about harsh chemicals and artificial fragrances in soap. Lots of people are choosing fragrance-free or naturally scented soaps. They want to avoid skin irritations or allergic reactions. Being more aware of what we're putting on our bodies, how it affects our health, all that.
Yeah, makes sense. People are looking for gentler options. So we've got natural ingredients, a move away from harsh chemicals. What else? What other trends are shaping the future of soap?
Well, how about personalized soap? It's all about tailoring products to specific skin types and needs.
Personalized soap. Okay, now that's interesting. You mean like custom blended bars based on your skin type. How does that even work?
Exactly. There are companies that offer online quizzes, consultations, that kind of thing. They help you figure out your perfect soap blend. You can choose from different natural ingredients, essential oils, all targeted to your specific skin concerns. It's like having a personal soap expert.
Wow, that's taking things to a whole new level. So soap is getting more natural, personalized, and gentle. What other surprises does the future of soap hold?
Well, there's this growing interest in using soap for more than just cleaning. Researchers are actually looking into its potential as a delivery system for medications, even vaccines.
Wait, soap as medicine? Hold on, that sounds like something out of a sci-fi movie. How is that even possible?
It's still early days, lots of research to be done, but the basic idea is you could incorporate active ingredients into soap that can be absorbed through the skin. Think about it. This could be a game changer, especially for delivering medication to remote areas or for people who have trouble swallowing pills.
Wow, mind-blowing. From cleaning our bodies to potentially healing them, it really makes you appreciate the potential of something so simple. It sounds like the future of soap is, well, pretty bright.
It definitely is. Sustainable ingredients, personalized formulas, medical applications, soap is full of surprises. It's a real testament to human ingenuity and just how powerful a simple, everyday substance can be.
You know what? I'm never going to look at a bar of soap the same way again. It's amazing what you can learn when you take a deep dive into something we usually take for granted.
Absolutely. The next time you lather up, think about the journey that led to that bar of soap. It's centuries of innovation in your hand. A reminder that even the most ordinary things can have extraordinary stories.
Well said. And on that note, thanks for joining us on this sudsy adventure. Until next time, stay curious.